Well, boys, today is tomorrow when Haliey Welch, the Hawk Tuah girl, the scammer of the century, she tried to make a comeback the other day and it did not go as well as she thought it was gonna go because she uploaded a brand new podcast that she was talking about her crypto venture and how it failed with Faze Banks up there, and it got deleted literally within an hour. Now, don't worry, boys. Obviously, with someone as famous as Haliey Welch spit on that thing, girl. Obviously, people saved it because this whole entire podcast was a disaster. Even the people that were on the podcast were like, that was not supposed to go live. We all said no to the podcast. We all said, you know what, this is a bad idea. Do not release it. But instead, she decided to release it, and I'm not gonna point any fingers, but someone decided to rug the Hawk Tuah coin again. Now, I don't know about you guys. There's only a handful of people that knew that this episode was coming out. So, a little bit of insider trading was happening. Just a little bit. So the other day, Coffeezilla on his voidzilla channel put up a video basically talking about how he was invited onto the podcast, but obviously, he didn't go because he wasn't trying to repair Haliey Welch's, little image because he already knew what was up. He already knew what was up because they were already being shady. They're already like, oh, we can't give you this information. We can't give you that information. But come on to our podcast, please, Coffeezilla, so we can edit you out of context.
Coffeezilla got on there. That scary guy, let me tell you. Don't ever want to have a conversation with him.
Whoa. Don't ever want to have a conversation with me. Guys, I'm not intimidating. I don't know what's the problem here. I'm Joe Rogan inches tall, guys. It's not a striking figure here you're going to be scared of. If you meet me in person, you're not going to be like, Relax. It's fine. Just get on the call. Let's have a conversation. I don't understand. And I also thought this was weird because Haliey Welch's lawyer invited me on the show. In fact, really, really wanted me on their show and kept telling me how much Haliey Welch liked me. Hence the t-shirt, I used to like Coffeezilla until he wouldn't come on my podcast. Then he is, Voldemort, and we can't mention him. He's scary. Watch out. Don't talk about Coffeezilla. He's intimidating.
I just don't understand how people do this. I guess because Haliey Welch already knew in the back of her mind, or whoever her little team was knew in the back of their mind, we're releasing this video either way. It doesn't matter if he comes on or not. We're releasing it either way. Because I'm like, the next thing, literally right after this clip, this man goes into the receipts. This man went to damn Whole Foods, brought out a damn receipt, CVS receipt at that. Just long sheet of him being like, unless you can tell me about this list of things, I can't come onto your podcast. And they kind of admitted to some real fuck shit. I'm just saying, they kind of admitted to, yeah, maybe we did do a little bit of scamming, right? They kind of slightly did do that. And obviously, they didn't go into detail about anything. So obviously, Coffeezilla, I'm sorry, sir. Well, actually, still Voidzilla, he's on his other channel. But obviously, Coffeezilla wasn't going to go onto their podcast. But for some reason, they still went through with this acting like, oh no, I would never contact Coffeezilla. That man, he's gross, he's slimy. He's like a little rat once he scurries into the podcast, you can't get him out.
Here's the message I got from her lawyer. Haliey would like to have you on as a guest on her podcast. You'd be the first guest since the failed crypto token launch and would get significant amount of views, would be very friendly. This guy must not know me. She really likes you. Wow. I thought she didn't want to have a conversation with me. What gives? What happened in only a few weeks? I turned into, the most scary man in the world. Now, I denied it. I said, look, I'm not a fan of what she did with Hawk. I have so many questions. I need details. And then this guy says, I understand your position. I think the more details come to light, you'll understand she was a victim in this. She does care about her fans and others that have lost money tremendously and is cooperating with all authorities as well as Berwick Law Group. This has all been very traumatic for her. And basically, come on the show, please. You are the podcast's top priority for the first episode in 2025, guys. Me, the boogeyman, I was honored, to be honest. I was like, wow, I could be on the Hawk Tuah show. But, of course, I don't want to rehab someone's image who scammed people. And I really felt that questions had not been answered that should have been answered, such as, what was the agreement with Haliey Welch and with Doc Hollywood. Very simple question, right? Basically, Haliey Welch's position is, I was a victim. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how much. I was barely going to make money. 125K plus half of 10% of the tokens, locked for a year, like this terrible deal I got taken advantage of by these monsters. Like, that was kind of their position.
Like, yeah, they were at like the damn crack baby Haliey Welch was out here making damn crypto deals. We already know that this whole thing was being lined up, probably with Jake Paul and his lawyers and, the whole Hawk Tuah podcast, right? There were many brain cells going into this work, all right? It wasn't her dying little stars in her head. She's like, I see flashing light. What is that? Haliey, come back to reality. You got to do a podcast. We got to scam again here, Haliey, all right? We got to get one more scam in.
Super weird. And in general, I find that in these situations, going on people's podcasts where I've reported on them, they are highly likely to do sketchy editing, to try to kind of control the situation so they look as good as possible, obviously. But I'm just not I don't think that ever makes sense. Like, for me, reporting on a scam to then go on their podcast. It doesn't work. So I say no. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Well, they bring Faze Banks on.
Now, for a lot of you boys out there, like, Faze Banks? Why does she have Faze Banks on the podcast out of any and everyone in the crypto space? Well, Faze Banks was one of the people that did call out Haliey Welch during her first round of crypto scamming, all right?
Yeah, please. Sorry.
Not over,
Haliey,
man.
again, I'm going to talk to you directly. At the end of the day, your name was the poster child for the token. The whole Hawk Tuah meme was used to market it and launch it. At the end of the day, when Coffeezilla makes a video about this, you're going to be in the thumbnail. Your name's going to be in the title. So what Doc or whoever the fuck was saying earlier about traditional Web 2 influencers coming in the space and having a bad reputation in this space, it's for this reason exactly. It's because people enter the space like this with whoever the fuck. Basically, what I'm getting at, and I'll wrap up here with just whoever guided you in this, or whoever directed you to do this, or gave you the advice to do this, you should fire them immediately.
I don't know why he didn't see from a million miles away that, they're bringing me onto their podcast after I criticize them? Kind of seems like this is going to be a scam 2.0. I like how Coffeezilla saw this from a million miles away. He's like, this is sketchy. I'm not going to do the podcast. This is kind of sketchy. I don't believe you. You're not even being forthcoming, so obviously not going out there. But Faze Banks, that man was roaring and ready to get on a podcast when he has no reason to get on a podcast. He doesn't even do interviews like that. The man legitimately has better things to do. Whenever I tell you the real reason why Faze Banks went on this podcast, it wasn't to help out Haliey Welch. It wasn't to, help repay back the people that got scammed by Hawk Tuah. It wasn't so he can match the money that the podcast made to send over to California to help the animals that were affected by the wildfire.
And I feel really bad for all the people that got affected by it, and it just didn't go the way I planned. And all the money out of this episode is getting donated to all the animals that have been affected by the fires up here.
And I'll match it. Me, Ricky, I'll match it, whatever.
Which is a pretty weird charity for Haliey Welch to put her money into, seeing that there's a whole different thing that you can do, the whole reason for this podcast that could make other people, right and whole with that money. Because she's still getting sued, by the way, for the crypto scam. It's not like she's home free at all. She still has to go through a lawsuit, and they're wanting, I'm pretty sure, $100 or something $1,000. So I'm pretty sure she could probably just pay that off. She could literally just pay off the lawsuit at this point. And that would probably be better, if anything. Then she can look like some kind of hero. But obviously, in the beginning of the podcast, she tried to use her little Hawk Tuah tears, all right? She's just a little country girl. She don't know about the internet coin. She scammed millions, but she ain't know about all this.
I want to start by saying thank you to all my true fans and all the people that actually watch my stuff and they keep up with me. We're trying to sort out all the pieces and stuff to get all this figured out and make everything right. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
No, don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Everything's gonna be good. We're gonna be good.
But yeah, the true reason for why Faze Banks got onto this podcast was, who would have known, the man was fucking horny. This man is out here trying to repair a scammer's whole image after she scammed millions out of her fans because he was fucking horny. Now, the thing about this podcast was, it was never supposed to be released because everyone realized how the podcast was going down. It was like, yeah, this podcast is not going too well at all. We are kind of rehabilitating the image of this scammer. So everyone in the podcast, before it even went out, was like, yo, don't release it. I don't want it to be released. Banks literally said, I had a contract with them saying, do not release it without my final say on it. Because, again, Faze Banks doesn't do, many interviews at all. So getting him on anything is probably guaranteed a couple 100,000 extra views.
Turns out it didn't, because Banks released this. He said, I agreed to do her first podcast back. I had heavy stipulations of not letting the market get manipulated. I think that's basic. Her team finding a real solution regarding the money she made. Those were non-starters. These people leaked or insider traded the token. We noticed a random spike in volume on the coin the day we did the podcast, along with random messages asking if we did the podcast. So are you guys getting this? Somebody front ran the podcast to buy up all the coins because they knew, ooh, everyone's going to like it when they release this podcast. Let's front run the coin, which is just horrible. It's like, what, do you want to re-victimize people? So they call off the pod. They're like, look, even the people most charitable towards Hawk Tuah say, we're out. We're done. But today, the episode got leaked. Apparently, there was an agreement. The podcast is never going out, but today it got leaked. I say that because some of the accompanying clips that got clipped seem to be good for Haliey Welch.
And Coffeezilla's right. They did the exact thing that he thought they were going to do if he went up there. They clipped out the podcast. They didn't care if the podcast was going to or was not going to go out. They were already just looking for some clips like some damn Faze streamers, all right? If anything, Banks needs to hire this woman on to Faze Clan because she is out here farming these clips, all right? They got all the good PR. They rugged the whole entire coin again and made out like bandits again. Something tells me Haliey Welch is about to go take another 2-month nap, come back with some other high-profile crypto person, talk about how her coin should have never got rugged twice, and then rug it again. I'm gonna be honest, this woman might have an infinite money glitch. And it's not like the Chase Bank glitch where you actually get into trouble, with the federal government for doing crimes like, wire fraud. No, with the new administration we have, this is perfectly legal, by the way. Just let you know, this woman is not gonna be seeing jail. She can keep doing this as much as she wants. Trust me, if she sees jail, there's gonna be a lot of high profile people out here that are gonna be seeing some jail time. And let's all be honest here, they're not going to jail. So, just saying, boys, if you guys don't want to get scammed, become a member of the channel. Please, for $1 a month, you can support a starving fish. Look at me, I'm all skin, not even bones. I'm not even the annoying part of eating a fish. But I don't even know what's worse right now, boys. Haliey Welch scamming her fans again, blatantly. The coin got rugged again, and her inside crew were the only ones that knew about, this whole podcast going on. So, they wrote it again, or Kanye West. This man just went off the deep end the other day, and I'm gonna be honest here, it got worse than what you think. You thought the I'm a Nazi was bad. He said some other really heinous shit. Click this video right here to find out what else did Kanye West say, and trust me, you're gonna need a hazmat suit for that one. But other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.